What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our channel. This is your boy Ejike, back again with another video waiting to happen. How on a day, Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) has dragged Nigerian federal government to court to challenge some provisions in the just gazetted Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, known as Cama. So this video is divided into 5 parts. The first one is the meaning of Cama. For those that do not know the meaning of Cama, the second one is a quick background about Cama, and the third one is why Nigerian pastors are afraid of this law, Cama. The fourth one is, are the churches in Nigeria and Christians the target of Cama, or did the federal government enact this law to target Nigerian Christians and churches? The fifth one is our conclusion. Comment section is open for you guys to throw in your input, to throw in your opinion, to contribute in the comment section. Please be civil as you make your comments, be responsible with your comments. Don't abuse anybody, don't curse anybody, don't call people names. I've seen lots of comments, that are not pleasant. Please don't abuse anybody in the comment section. If you like what we do on this channel, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share our videos with your friends and families. And don't forget to turn on your bell notification. So let's get into today's video. So Cama means Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. That is the full meaning of Cama. So a quick background about Cama. On the 7th of August 2020, President Buhari signed into law the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. After it has passed through the National Assembly, passed through their readings and stuff, our daddy, Bishop David Oyedepo, Apostle Suleiman, Joshua Iginla, Pastor Chris Oyakhilome, many pastors in Nigeria, Christian Association of Nigeria in general, all of them kicked against it. They tried all they could to stop Nigerian government from intervening and interfering in the management and running of their churches, but they could not. They have no other option now than to drag the federal government to court to stop them from, interfering and intervening in the running of their churches. These guys, they don't believe in federal government, but they still waka go court. And you guys know, say, Nigerian judicial system, they in the hands of the federal government, and then they run things there. They can appoint anybody, they can fire anybody. Why are the pastors afraid of Cama? Guys, a section of this law states that the commission and the supervising ministry may suspend the trustees of any organization and appoint a manager or managers to manage the affairs of that commission if they notice any form of misconduct. And you know that our churches are registered as organizations, a non-profitable organizations. Pastor Joshua Iginla made a video. He talked at length, why they are kicking against this law called Cama.
But I disagree that somebody will now propound a law that will control a spiritual entity, what they call Cama. Because the church is asleep. Last year I prophesied and said the church is going to have persecution. The church is asleep. Do you know what it took some of us to labor to grow a church to this level? Somebody said you would not come and appoint a trustee over a church. You don't even know how the church came about. If the pastor is corrupt, deal with his corruption, let him face the law and go to jail. But appointing a trustee, some of us are ready to die before you do that to us. Absolutely wrong. And do you know why it's getting to this level? The church is not feared, but there is a grace that is about to happen in the church in Nigeria, that everyone that is perpetuating, scheming and plotting the downfall of the church will use their life to pay. How do you make a law for a church who has labored? You change the trustee, remove all of them and put your trustee. When as some organization become a spiritual entity, are you about to preach? Are you about to do deliverance? Are you about to prophesy? Are you about to teach the word? On what capacity will you control the church? Make laws that prevent men of God from being corrupt. And if they are corrupt, send them to jail. But taking over the spiritual entity of a church is a coup against the church.
So churches in Nigeria are registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission as non-profitable organizations, not as private businesses or family businesses. So because they are registered as non-profitable organizations, they don't pay tax. Had it been they are registered as private businesses or family businesses as they are being run today, guys, they'll be paying tax to the federal government. But because they are not registered as a business, a private business, they are registered as non-profitable organizations, they don't pay tax to the federal government. And that is why the federal government is including them in this law. That is why the federal government wants to know what happens in the churches. How do they spend the monies that are being contributed in the churches? And that is why the pastors are afraid of this law. So churches don't pay tax, meaning that all the monies contributed in the churches go straight to the founders and owners of these churches. Guys, you know that the Bible told us that you have to respect the authorities in the land, and you have to also give Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give the Lord what belongs to the Lord. You know, to avoid federal government taking over your church, register your church as a private business and pay tax to the government. This is just about accountability. If you don't want the federal government to poke into your business in the church, register your church as a business, as a private business or a family business, and pay tax to the government. They will take their eyes away from what else that you're doing in your church. Because some people will argue that the churches pay tax, you know, with their side businesses, maybe their real estate, their supermarkets, or whatever, their schools and stuff like that. But what about that fat cow that is producing that milk? The cow is the church. That is where they realize more of their income, the church. The side hustles, the schools and other things that they own, they don't really, you know, those ones are minor things, but their main focus is in the church. That is where the bulk of their income, you know, is being collected in the churches. And they don't pay tax to the government based on their churches as a non-profitable organization. So if they want to, you know, stop the government from interfering and intervening in their business, they have to register their churches as private businesses so that they can pay tax. Government will tell them this is what you will pay based on your income, you know, to avoid embarrassment, to avoid all this saga, all this dragging to court that we are seeing today. So is the church the target of Cama? Is the federal government targeting Nigerian churches and Christians with this law they just enacted? So let's see what this man has to say about that.
What has become controversial is this section dealing with NGOs, not-for-profit organizations, including churches. Section 839, subsections 1 and 2, has been particularly contentious, with pastors threatening that nobody on earth can come and dissolve their body of trustees or even appoint anybody and all of that. They accuse the government of trying to cross the line between politics and religion, between law and the freedom of religion and association. Do you think that the pastors and the NGOs are correct? Or you think that that law is in the best interest of everybody and that NGOs and not-for-profit organizations, including churches and mosques, are also governed by law? They are not above the laws of the land. What's your take?
Yeah, thank you very much, Doc. But before we start, I think it will be necessary for us to even read from the section, that's section 839 of the Company and Allied Matters Act, because a lot of people seems not to have even read the section before criticizing. So please, if you quickly permit me, because of time. The Commission may, subsection 1 of section 389 says, the Commission may, by order, suspend the trustees of an association and appoint an interim manager or managers to manage the affair of an association where it reasonably believes A, there is or has been any misconduct or mismanagement in the administration of the association. 2, it is necessary or desirable for the purpose of 1, protecting the property of the association, exercise of powers of trustees, application of income and property, suspension of trustees, etc., and appointment of interim manager. 2, securing a proper application for the property of the association towards achieving the objective of the association, the purpose of the association, of the property or of the property coming to the association. 3, public interest or the affair of the associations are being run fraudulently. Subsection 2, the trustees may be suspended. The trustees shall be suspended by an order of court upon the petition of the commission or members consisting 1/5, that's 20% of the association, and the petitioner shall present all reasonable evidence or such evidence as requested by the court in respect thereof. And so, if you read this section, it is very clear and obvious that the commission cannot on its own sit down and suspend trustees without a court order. The commission also cannot just, the section also, from what I have read, is not targeted at churches or religious bodies. It is a section that governs non-for-profit organization. And when you register your association as a non-for-profit organization, the government exempts you from paying taxes. And so once you are exempted from paying taxes to government, and you're also collecting monies for the benefit of that association, it is the responsibility of government now to make laws to ensure that the money so collected, the properties so realized, are properly utilized for the purpose for which that association was set up. For us now to say, no, don't regulate. You can decide not to register as a non-for-profit and then pay taxes. And then you'll be guided by the NFIU Act. You also be guided by the EFCC Act and all of that. But to say that it is targeted at churches, if you read the entire gamut of that section, there is nowhere church is mentioned. Because this section is a section that guides not just religious bodies, but every non-for-profit organization, including NGOs. Some of us operate NGOs, and we receive monies from foreign donors. The government also wants to ensure that these foreign donors, this money so received, are for promoting the aims and objectives of the association. Lastly, quickly, we have seen situations where you see laity members in church, you know, enter into fisticuffs with the pastoral council over mismanagement of funds. If you look at subsection 6 of this section, it empowers such members, instead of resorting to self-help, to approach the court for an order to suspend. And also, it is not for the commission to appoint pastors for churches. It is for the commission to appoint management consultants, like what we call receiver managers, to manage the association for at least a period of 12 months if there are infractions. And so I really do not see where churches are mentioned here or where there are sinister moves to regulate church.
Cama is not about Nigerian churches and Christians. Cama is about regulating organizations, regulating the non-profitable organizations in Nigeria. It is not targeted at any church. It is not targeted at Christians in Nigeria. Cama bill is not after Nigerian churches. You know, Pastor Joshua Iginla made mention of the other religion in his video. He said, what about the other religion? You know, he did not mention their name, but we know that he is referring to the Muslims. Guys, you know that the Muslims, even their imams, they don't live flamboyantly. They don't live flamboyant lives in Nigeria. They don't own private jets. They don't have exotic cars. They don't go with military and police escorts. It's only Nigerian pastors or the pastors in Africa that move around with escorts. It's only Nigerian pastors that own private jets. It's only Nigerian pastors that move along with convoy, that have fleets of cars, private jets up and down. Nigerian pastors cannot live abroad. If they live abroad, taxation alone will chase them out of the country. That is why they find Nigeria and Africa as a safe ground where they can amass wealth, where they can acquire wealth, accumulate wealth for themselves without paying any tax to the government. And you know that any country that don't pay tax don't progress. Through the tax that we pay, that the federal government can now provide infrastructures for the masses. If you don't pay tax, the government will not have any fund to provide infrastructures for the masses. They have churches all over the world, in the developed countries, abroad, in America, in the United Kingdom, in Europe, in Canada. Those places, they obey their laws in these countries. But in Nigeria, they challenge the government. Why are you saying this? Why are you doing that? You know, they can't go to America and challenge the law of America. But they come to Nigeria, their own country that they need to develop. They challenge the federal government. They still obey the Italian laws in Vatican City. That is how they operate. They still operate under that law, under the Italian law. But in Nigeria, churches are, you know, questioning the government. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So taking the government to the court, is it the best thing to do? Dragging your own government to court because they made a law that you think is not suitable for you. What they are supposed to do is to adjust. If you are transparent, if you know you're not doing anything contrary to what the law says. Why drag the federal government to court? So what do you guys think about it? Leave your opinion in the comment section. Please like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends and families, and tell us what you think in the comment section. Let us hear your own thoughts and know your opinion in the comment section. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.